Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode here of the Inside the Steelers video series here as part of the Joey Osborne Show. I'm your host here, Joey Osborne, for our first ever episode here of Inside the Steelers, which is a brand new series I'm very excited to introduce to everyone here today, as pretty much I'm going to be doing on the side here, there's a YouTube exclusive video series where we just talk about the Steelers, so pretty much game day previews, and if there's a big trade or something like that, we talk about it as well. So this is pretty much here. We're going to test it out here today with the first preseason game happening today. We're going to test this out and see how it goes here. But yeah. So let's get into it here. Of course, tonight's game, the Pittsburgh Steelers for the first preseason game are traveling down to Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are in a very interesting spot at this point now with Tom Brady officially retiring, and they are now in the influx of their new quarterback, kind of an issue we had last year where we didn't know who our quarterback was after Ben retired. They're on a very similar phase. So let's get straight into it here on the Steelers side of the ball here. So pretty much starting for tonight, we do know Kenny Pickett will be starting. I anticipated this to be a couple drives, hopefully two. I don't really want him playing that much just because we don't want to get injured before the season, but just to see how he does play out and how many other starters do play. As of right now, we know Pickett, and that's really it. I would expect you to see George Pickens as well. Probably Deontay Johnson. I expect most of the offense to be out there. And probably offensive line, I do expect all the new guys to be out there. Just because they haven't played much in an actual game together. And they're going to want to get the reps in with these new guys who are in the offensive line as well. Defensively, we may see TJ Watt today. I don't know if we will or not. I think probably for a little bit. I think we're going to get to see all the starters. Other than Minka. I think Minka, just because he has not practiced due to the family issue he was out of training camp for the last 2 weeks, I don't think we're going to see him. Like, he'll be there, but I don't think he'll actually play. And I don't think he really should be playing Minka in the preseason anyway. Like, for a lot of these starters, you really don't want to play in preseason, but a lot of things definitely look at on the Steelers side here, including, of course, the debut of last year's fourth-round pick, Calvin Austin III, a wide receiver we've all been waiting to see. He will, of course, make his Steelers debut tonight after a year of waiting here with the leg injury he had last season. And we got a couple other Steelers, of course, making their debuts. With the big names, of course, in this game, who will most likely be showing up, of course, Broderick Jones, the first-round pick left tackle out of Georgia. The son of Joey Porter himself, Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State, our second-round pick, the cornerback. Definitely expect to see a lot of him tonight, for sure. Second round pick as well, Keanu Benton. I expect him to be a big part of this game as well. Pretty much, I think a lot of the rookies, we're going to see Darnell Washington for sure. I think we'll see a ton of him in my mind tonight. So a lot of Steelers playing their first games as Steelers tonight. So a lot of excitement here on our side here. But now moving on to the Tampa Bay side here. The big story, of course, is who is the QB1. Of course, when they released their first depth chart last week, they had it as for the starting quarterback, Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. So they had not decided on who it is yet. We do know Baker Mayfield will be starting tonight's game first, but I expect both of them to play a decent amount of time just because apparently both are very close to each other in the skill level, which is very interesting to hear. But I think the main thing to watch out here for Tampa Bay-wise is to see how the offense responds to this quarterbacks. Pretty much for Tampa Bay today, it's going to rely on Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, which one plays better here. Because pretty much these next three games for Tampa Bay, it's going to decide who is the QB1 for the beginning of this year here. So massive games for Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask in this preseason coming up here. But that's the main thing I think really to watch. Their first round pick, Kaliza Consi from Pitt, hail the Pitt guy. I don't think will be playing tonight because he did have a leg injury, so I expect him not to be playing. It's kind of a bummer because I did want to see how he would do because he is a prospect I am really high on, excited to see how he does play. However, he will not be in the starting lineup for tonight, nor do I expect him to play just due to that injury as well. They also have a couple other injuries. I know Ryan Jensen, I think, is going to be out still because they're not really wanting to risk his health right now before the regular season. Of course, they'll star center, so I do not expect him to be in there as well. But one guy I really do want to watch out here for in Tampa Bay, just want to see how he does, is highly drafted rookie here of Cody March. I think he was picked in the 3rd round, but he has apparently exceeded expectations very highly in camp and has got a ton of praise. Of course, we do know Tampa Bay has been known for having a very good offensive line the last couple of years here. So it'll be interesting to see how he does respond. But I think there's a lot of hype around this guy, and I think he is going to be a very good guard, and I think he will be a definite starter for them this year. So I think they are definitely really wanting to see how he can do. I think it'll be very interesting to see how he does play out, as he is a rookie, but I have heard nothing but great things about him, and he is the one guy on Tampa Bay side that I am actually really excited to see, other than Concert, who sadly is not going to be playing tonight due to his leg injury. But other than that, here, pretty much their defense, pretty much the same. Forces like Vita Vea are still on the side for their D-line, pretty much anchoring it down, and the secondary is still very good. Of them, of course, being able to keep a lot of their pieces there as well, but most of those guys, of course, obviously will not be playing tonight for the most part. Like, they'll probably a series or 2, but nothing big on their front here, just because, preseason, you're not really be playing much. But it will be definitely good to see how Pickett has changed in year 2 for the first drive or so, because you'll probably do at least 1 or 2 drives, and I assume the starting defenses as well will do that. So we'll get to see exactly how Pickett has changed a little bit. We won't get the full picture, obviously, till the regular season, but this will be definitely a good test to see what has changed for year 2 for Kenny Pickett and the whole Steelers offense in general. Just again to see how exactly it does flow, because the whole Matt Canada situation is still there at this point. Obviously, they did decide to retain him, so just to see how it does work out for them. But I have a lot of interest here, I think, on all sorts of sides here. But I think my main interest here tonight, and I think what is really the big thing for Steelers fans to pay attention to this, 3 big things. 3 guys I really want, I think, we are paying attention to here tonight. Number 1 is Calvin Austin here, the wide receiver who was drafted last year in the 4th round, who, of course, did not play last year due to injury. He has insane speed, and I think he is a very versatile weapon, and it's going to be very exciting to see how he does play into the Steelers offense here this year. And he is the one guy that you really want to look forward to right now at this spot here, to see how well he does and how he's able to maintain himself in this big light. So, because this is going to be his first ever NFL game action, but he did very well in training camp, except for the first day of camp. He had a couple drops, but other than that, played very well, and I'm very excited to see how he does play out here. And I do expect him to play a little bit of Pickett, but mostly of Trubisky tonight. But I think we're going to see some definite good work on both ends for him. I think he is the one name to watch out for in the Tampa Bay's secondary. Is already probably have him on the lookout just due to the insane speed this guy has. Very excited. Of course, no one I want to look at here big time. I'm going to keep on the offense for this one is look for Darnell Washington. I think he is a big name, a lot of potential. As of his size and build, and he does have the skills to be a very elite tight end at this level. And he could be an insane tight end if developed correctly. And honestly, now in the Steelers, he probably will be developed correctly just because we do develop very well with our players. But he is going to be named more to see how he does with the offense. I do not expect him to play with Pickett today. I do expect him to be with Trubisky and Rudolph when both of them are out there. But I do expect a good game out of him, and I think he'll be a spectacular number 2 option for the Steelers behind Pat Freiermuth here. And my 3rd point here, I think you want to watch out for today's game for the Steelers, is, of course, Joey Porter Jr., the rookie cornerback. This is going to be his first action, and his training camp has been a mixed bag of sorts. Some bad and a lot of good. So, there's a bit ups and downs for him, but he has had, I think, overall a good camp for a rookie. They're really testing him hard, and I think he's responded well to a lot of the challenges he's faced in training camp, and tonight is going to be a big challenge for him. And I expect the Steelers to put him into a lot of situations that'll probably be a little uncomfortable for him, but it's going to be great for his development and help him out to succeed in games down the road as well as tonight here. But I expect a good game from him. He has been worked hard. I know definitely him and Pickens going at it. They all spent a lot of interesting stuff, and I think he's going to be very good tonight. I'm excited to see him. I think he'll do very well. And yeah, that's pretty much here. What, if you're a Steelers fan, to watch out for these 3 players, I think, going to be the big impacts of tonight's game and the big reason to watch here. Now, for my prediction for the game here, I'm going to say here, I think Steelers are going to win the game here. with I think offense is gonna be somewhat high tonight. In my mind, just because I don't think a lot of the defense guys are playing well, but I feel like the score here for the game is probably gonna be somewhere around 28-21 Steelers. That is what I'm gonna go with. I think the Steelers defense has a lot of young pieces are gonna play tonight, who are drafted very high and well, and I do think they're gonna perform very well against a very stagnated Tampa Bay offense. However, I do expect Tampa Bay offense to at least throw some punches as well at the Steelers and get a couple scores on the board. So I'm going to say 28-21 Pittsburgh Steelers will take the win. So that does it here for our first episode of Inside Steelers Football. Thank you guys for watching here on YouTube. Of course, I have other videos as well with the Joe Osborne Show. We talk about all 4 sports here: football, baseball, hockey, and basketball. And all those videos on here as well, doing our NFL stuff. So thank you guys for listening in and watching, and here we go, Steelers.